Welcome to the rigging tutorial for Martin Audio's Wavefront Precision series. In this video, we are going to cover how to rig Martin Audio's WPS in a flown configuration. Before you rig Wavefront Precision arrays, use display software to calculate the inter-cabinet angles and acoustic shape as well as the array aim, ensuring the mechanical safety of the arrays you intend to deploy is safe. The flying grid has a series of numbered holes allowing an array to be flown from a single point. Your display file will show which hole to use to obtain the desired aim angle of the array. For a 2-point lift, connect the shackle to the flying frame at the rear and front of the flying grid. Wheel a WPS transport cart complete with 4 cabinets into place under the chosen rigging point. Remove the lid and 4 poles from the cart ready to fly. Lift the flying frame into position on the top cabinet in either the front or rear rigging positions as determined in your Display 2 project. Raise the floating front link and lock in position. Then insert the link pin into the front rigging positions on both sides of the cabinet. Attach the rear link from the top cabinet to the flying frame's link position in the grid just behind hole 9. To fly an array from the rear position is no different. Just find and locate the hole halfway down the grid and connect to the front 2 rigging points of the first cabinet. Then attach the rear link hole to the rear link spine just in front of hole 21. Most arrays will use the front rigging position, however the rear position is required when the array has an excessive up tilt. WPS allows you to set the inter-cabinet angles whilst the cabinets are in the cart on the floor, allowing for an efficient deployment of an array. To set the angles of a WPS array, please ensure all angle pins are removed from the rear rigging points. This will allow the bars to drop, allowing the user to select the appropriate angles required throughout the 4 cabinets. All WP arrays require the first cabinet angle to be set at 0.5 degrees when connected to the grid. Please check link pins are inserted, ensuring the cabinets do not separate when lifted in the air. Lock pins are to be left in their stow hole position to the right of the rear rigging spine. The inter-cabinet angles should now be checked, if not already pre-selected. Please set them now according to the predictions from your display file. All link pins should be connected, with lock pins left in their stow hole position to the right of the rigging spine. You can now lift the array until the cart is just clear of the ground. As the array goes up, the cabinets will open to the inter-cabinet angles you have pre-selected from the Display 2 project prediction. Please insert the lock pin at the lock position to the right of the rigging spine on each cabinet to lock the inter-cabinet angles, making the array rigid. At this stage, the cable loom should be attached to the grid and the first 4 cabinets connected. Support the rear of the cart and remove the rear pin holding the cart to the array. Then lower the back of the cart to the ground. Repeat at the front of the array, supporting the cart and removing the front pins holding the cart to the array at the same time to ensure the cart base or cabinet is not damaged. Lift the array to a height where a second cart can be placed underneath. Position a second loaded WPS transport cart underneath the array. Remove the top lid and poles and prepare the cabinets to be added to the array. Pre-select inter-cabinet angles on cabinets 5 to 8 as before, ensuring the link pin is secured, as well as ensuring the lock pin is stowed away, ready for the array to be flown. Remove the front locking pins from cabinet 5. Lower the upper part of the array, cabinets 1 to 4, raising the floating front point link up to the next cabinet, and insert the link pin. We then lower the array and insert the lock pin at the front 2 positions of the array. We can then raise the array so the transport cart is clear of the ground. The cabinet angles will open as far as the pins will allow to the angle that has been pre-selected. Insert the rigging pins at the lock position on the remaining cabinets to ensure the array is then rigid. Support the rear of the cart and remove the rear pin holding the cart to the array. Then lower the back of the cart to the ground. Repeat at the front of the array, supporting the cart and removing the front pins holding the cart to the array at the same time. You can now pull back the bottom 4 cabinets, which will now be a rigid array due to the rigging pins, backwards until butted against the upper half of the array. Allow the bottom 4 cabinets to swing back down, inserting the rigging pins into the link and lock positions on the 4th cabinet. We can now connect the cable loom and any link cables as required to the lower 4 cabinets based on your box resolution, and fly to trim height. Landing an array is simply a reversal of the rigging procedure we have just followed. Landing an array requires you to lower the array into a WPS transport cart. Lower the array until it is just above the cart. Disconnect the speaker cables. Raise the front of the cart and pin it in position to the front points of the array. At the back of the array, raise the cart and pin the cart to the rear rigging bracket in the lock position of the array. Remove the lock pins from the rear rigging bracket on the bottom 4 cabinets. Lower the array until the cart is on the ground, taking the weight of the array, or lift the bottom 4 cabinets using the pocket handles on the back of the cabinet, allowing the cabinets to collapse down until the trapezoidal sides are touching. Carefully unpin the 5th cabinet from the 4th cabinet at the rear by removing the lock and link pin. After removing pins, allow the array to swing on the front link and lower the array down so that the cart meets the floor. Remove the front locking pins from the 5th cabinet at each side, ensure the cart is fully grounded when removing pins. Remove the lock pins from cabinet 5, and then remove the link pins from the floating front point link of cabinet 4 and store pins in position ready for transportation. Lower the final part of the array until it is just above the cart and disconnect all speaker cables at this point. You can then raise the front of the cart and pin it in position to the front points of the array. With all link pins attached and all lock pins removed, lower the array until it is just above the cart, disconnecting all speaker cables. We can then lower the rear of the array so that all trapezoidal sides are touching, allowing us to remove the link position between the grid and the rear rigging link on the 1st cabinet. We can then remove the front locking pins from the cabinet at each side, ensuring the cart is fully grounded when removing these pins. We can then stow the floating front point link back into the top cabinet, ready for transportation. Please ensure to stow all pins correctly and replace the poles and lid on the cart ready for transportation. We can then lower the WPS grid T on top of a flight case, ready to remove the hooks from the rigging points.